Greetings, my name is Lundo Madlala. Today I'll be presenting about the four communication theories. So we'll begin by analyzing how the self is constructed according to symbolic interactionism using the real world example from my social media, and then evaluate the theory based on the scope, testability, utility, parsimony, and also heuristicism. Next, we'll examine the five core principles of communication, the privacy management theory, and discuss the dangers of not following this principle based on the case study. Then we'll focus on the social exchange theory, exploring how the social media influences comparison levels based on my friend responses to see if their experiences confirm or disprove the theory's prediction. Finally, we'll examine the five assumptions of the uses and classification theory and analyze the Catarines report to assess whether its findings support or challenge these assumptions. We'll now move to the self according to symbolic interactionism. So, according to Dennis and Wasco, symbolic interactionism occurs when people communicate through gestures and words based on their expectations of others' response. So, according to Draffin in the year of 2011 on page 61, he further emphasizes that the self it is not fixed, but it is dynamic and changing. Myths were clearly outlined that the self is an active process involving the I, me, generalized others, and the looking glass self. So the I represents the impulsive and active component that initiates a response and an action. It is driven by the emotions. For example, when my friend upset me, I usually send the sad stickers and the emojis to express my feeling. That demonstrates the I in action. Then we will move on me, which represent our self-perception, significantly influenced by how others act towards us. For example, me is evident when I edit my message multiple times before I send it to my friend to avoid hurting her feelings when he read my message. That demonstrates how my self-perception is shaped by my consideration of others' reaction. Furthermore, we will talk about the generalized others, which refers to the societal norms and the expectation that guide our behavior. For example, when I see my friend posting a motivational quotes and verses, I feel the desire to share it on my status as well. This demonstrates how I fit into the societal norms. Then we'll now move to the looking glass self, which is defined as the opinions and the perceptions we believe others have about us. For example, when I post a selfie on my WhatsApp looking beautiful, I receive many likes and positive comments, and it makes me feel attractive and more confident as others' reaction influence my self-perception. Provide a critique of the theory using the five criteria for evaluating theory. So we'll start by scope. So according to Wood in a year of 2003 on page 39, scope refers to the extent to which the theory explains and describes. So the symbolic interactionism does not provide a detailed description because it focuses more on micro level social interactions, but limits a full description on a macro level social interaction. Then we move to testability. So testability is when theory's argument can be examined to confirm the validity. It is discovered by Wood in the year of 2003 on page 42. So symbolic interactionism can be tested through the qualitative research method like the interviews. However, its testability is limited by its qualitative nature, making quantitative testing very challenging. So we'll move on to the third one, which is parsimony. It is also discovered by Wood in a year of 2003 on page 43. So parsimony refers to the simplicity of the theory. So the symbolic interactionism is not a simple theory as it involves the complex words like the symbols, the meaning, and the interactions. And now we move to the fourth one, which is utility. So the utility refers to the usefulness of the theory. So the symbolic interactionism has utility, like it has a practical utility as it offers a variable insight into how individual creates and negotiates meaning. We'll move to the last one, which is heurism. So the heurism is the term that's used to describe the theory as it promotes the creative ideas as it's discovered by Wood in a year of 2003 on page 44. So the symbolic interactionism has heuristic value as it generates the new thinking about social interactions and the role of symbols. So the communication privacy management, it is discovered by Griffin in the year of 2021 on page 168. It is refers to the process of controlling the personal private information in communication. So we start by the first principle, which is people believe they own and have a right to control their private information. So this means individuals feel that they have control over sharing their information with whom. So Taiti and Kiki disregarded Munitz's rights, which is leading to threatening calls and defamation. The second principle says people control their private information through personal rules. So these are rules individuals set to manage their private information. Tate and Kiki failed to establish clear rules, resulting in a lawsuit. So the principle 3 it says when people share information, others become the co-owners. This means those who receive the information have a responsibility to respect the original owner's privacy. So sharing Monet's information made followers the co-owners, leading to widespread broadcasting. So principle 4, the co-owners need to negotiate mutually agreeable private rules. This means the co-owners must agree on how to manage the shared information. So Taite and Kiki didn't negotiate with Muneti, leading to a defamation lawsuit. So the last principle, it is about boundary turbulence. Okay, when the private rules and aren't effective controlled. So this means the conflict arises when private boundaries are not respected at all. As we can see in the case study, Tati and Kiki's failure led to the boundary turbulence, resulting in a court case. Now move to comparison level. So according to Bishop in the year of 2005 on page 197, the comparison level refers to the standard and expectations an individual have when they get into the relationship, influenced by the past experiences, the culture, and also the advices they get from their families. So the comparison level highlight that the relationship rewards are like the romantic relationship, and the downfall are like the disappointment and the dissatisfaction you get into the relationship. So I asked my two friends, how social media influences influence their comparison level, and their responses confirmed the claim. Friend one said she get into the relationship expecting that her Zuluman would take her to Gateway, only to find that Zuluman was showing love in a different way. She doesn't do things like her ex Sutu boyfriend. So my friend experience highlights the potential for cultural differences in a relationship expectation. Then friend two was expecting that her new partner will allow her to take pictures and post it on Instagram, but her new boyfriend doesn't allow that. So she feel as if like her boyfriend is cheating while it is not true. So friends two experience shows how social media can create a pressure for public displays of affection. So according to Guy and Johnson in the year of 2004 on page 297, the uses and the classification theory examine people use media to meet their needs and to understand the relationship between the media, the audience, and the society. So let us discuss about the five assumptions and link into the report. So we'll start by the audience. Members are not passive recipient of media, but rather they are active participants. So the reports confirm this the first assumption. So for example, 26.7 million South African, which represent 59.9% of the population aged 18 and above, are highly active on social media, spending average of hours, which are 3 hours and 36 minutes daily on the platform. This shows that people are the one who are active on social media, are the one who are active participant. Then we move to people use to the second assumption, which say people use media to satisfy their need. So according to the report, individual use social media to satisfy their needs, like the people they keep in touch with their friends on and family using social media, which is about 64.8% according to the report, and they read news stories which is 45%, and finding inspiration, which is 43.6%, which is confirmed by the report of Katarine. This the statistics demonstrate that people actively use social media to fulfill their needs. We'll move to the third assumptions, which says different people choose different media to meet their needs. So the report confirms this. So South African use WhatsApp 93.8%, and Facebook it is 88.6%, and for TikTok it is 76.9%. So this shows us like how different platform preferences demonstrate the individual actively choose the media that best suits them and best suits their need. So we move to the fourth assumption, which is says media must compete with other with other sources for needs satisfaction. So the reports confirm this assumption because the significant growth of TikTok, it is 34% year on year, indicate it is competing with WhatsApp and Facebook for users' attention. So we'll move to the last assumption: the people use media to determine its value. So people in South Africa, they spend about 3 hours 36 minutes on social media. This demonstrates the users' engagement and the time they spend on social media, which means they really enjoy and get it value of using the social media. We'll now move to the conclusion. Like in exploring the communication theories provide us with a variable insights of the human interactions, especially by examining the uses and the gratification theory, the social exchange theory, especially on the communication, especially of the comparison levels, and also on symbolic interactionism, where it highlights the importance of social interaction in shaping the identities and the relationship, and also the communication privacy management theory that teaches us about the effective boundary management for creating healthy relationship. Finally, understanding all these theories helps us to communicate effectively and build strong relationship, and also to navigate the social institutions. And by applying all this the communication theories like help us create meaningful connections and also achieve our goals. Thank you.